Welcome to Star Sign Shenanigans, the astrology podcast that's anything but ordinary.
Hold on to your horoscopes because this isn't your average astrology podcast.
There's going to be a solar eclipse coming up soon in like the beginning of April.
Like April 8th?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think I'm
gonna be
going to
next
see
month.
it.
I will. I think I will.
Yeah.
Certain parts of it because of where I'm at. I saw like a picture yesterday on Facebook of like all the towns and like when the best time is to see it. And it had us on there. It's kind of in our line. They said, I saw an article a couple months ago saying that like 1.5 million visitors were going to be coming to the state to see it. I'm like, oh God, stay off the roads that day.
God.
Yeah. But my work put like a thing on our calendar and it's called The Moon is Throwing Shade. And they said they're going to have glasses and snacks. And I'm like, this is so cute. So I'm like really excited for that. But that's, I think, the next big thing coming up. I think we have another retrograde coming up in the next month or two. Maybe it's coming faster, and that's what's happening today.
Maybe. I need to look up and see like how much of the eclipse I'm going to be able to see. I feel like it's going to be partial, if anything. Hopefully it's not cloudy.
I know. Hopefully the weather's good that day. That would suck for all the visitors.
The 1 million of them.
I know. I'm like, okay, maybe not leaving my house. Luckily, my town's very close by. All right, so today we just want to kind of talk about some pop culture stuff going on, trends, whatever. There's lots of different things. We're going to cover just lots of different stuff. So the first thing on my list I have is Justin and Hailey Bieber. So
what's going on?
I just feel bad for them. Like, and the thing is like, I do like Selena and I also like Justin, and it's, that's a conflict because of their history. And I understand,
right.
Like, it's been so many years ago. It's crazy to think it's been 6 years ago. It was like 2018. Him and Selena had their last little hurrah, and 2 months later, he's like engaged to Hailey Bieber. And I just would love to know what went down. Like, I saw someone on TikTok, like, if I could only know one piece of information in the universe, I want to know what the hell happened with that. Like, it's just very weird. And unfortunately, it's like they've been married for 6 years. That's a long time. Yeah. And it is what it is. But it's like I don't think they'll ever live it down. It reminds me a lot of Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and Jennifer Aniston. Like, Brad Pitt cheated on Jennifer Aniston, married Angelina Jolie, or they got together, had all these kids. They were together a long time. And then that ended up just like ending not well. But the whole time Jennifer was always like the third person in that situation, like always was associated to it. And I feel like that'll just always be the case with like Hailey and Justin and stuff. And I don't know, like, I'm like, maybe if they had a kid, I don't know if that would get people to just shut up about it, but I don't know. But
I don't know.
My point with this is they can't do anything without being judged, right? Like, Justin looks to his right the long way as they're getting out of the car. It's like, Justin's so mean to Hailey. It's like a little dramatic. Okay. But
I do like all the TikToks that were going around a couple months ago where it was like people were reenacting their relationship and he was just like acting like an immature kid, and she was like, Justin, like, those were so funny.
Like, she was all dressed up in like a red dress with a donut, and he's wearing shorts and like Adam Sandler over here. But like Adam Sandler does it and we think it's funny. Justin Bieber does it and it's like, Justin doesn't support or respect Hailey. And it's like, you know? And so, yeah. But my point with all this is her dad, like, I guess it's been like a week or two ago at this point, like, made a Instagram post or story or whatever saying, please keep Justin and Hailey in your prayers. And it's like, okay, any person doing that, people do it on Facebook every day. And it's like, okay, what's going
attention.
On? But when you're doing it to Justin and Hailey Bieber, like, I would be so mad at my dad. And I read that she was mad, and rightfully so, because they can't do anything without getting attention. And you're going to come out and ask for prayers for them like that. Why would you do that? It's not like you have 5 close friends you posted it to.
Right. It's not like you're not extremely famous, and you sending this one little story is not going to harm the relationship. Like, people are going to talk about this for months because you posted that. People are going to speculate. But it's just like my mom posting to her like 50 followers. Like, that's completely different. So
if
I would be
my mom
pissed
posted
too.
to her 5 followers, I'd be like, do not be putting me in your stuff unless I gave permission. Like, I wouldn't even like that as not a famous person, let alone if I was a Bieber, right?
I know.
And so I would be so irritated because I feel like they just can't escape it. But then they were like seen at church, and so people are like, what's going on? Like, I don't think it's a divorce or even issues in the relationship, which is probably what a lot of people want. I feel like it could be like medical, like Justin has issues with his mental health. Hailey has had some like health issues before. It could, I mean, we don't know if it's like pregnancy related. Maybe they're having issues with that or something. I don't know, but it's going to make people think about those things when you come out and say something like that. And so I can see the meaning and well-intentioned behind it, but not when your daughter is married to Justin Bieber.
I know, especially when they're like trying to stay out of the negative spotlight when it comes to their relationship, and you just post that out there for everybody to see. Pray for them. I'm not going to tell you why, but pray for them.
I know. And someone's like, maybe he just wants people to pray for them. It's like, there's a reason that he decided to say it. But she came out a couple days ago and made a story like 100% of the stuff you see on TikTok isn't true. It's like, oh, so every single thing is wrong. I feel like that, I mean, she can't do anything right or wrong either, but like she could have not worded it that way either. Cause like, I'm sure some stuff, there's always, I feel like when it comes to celebrity gossip, I think every so often there's a hint of truth to some of the things. Not maybe like the extremities that people have made about them, but... And then it's just, I don't know. Like, it was his birthday, actually. Justin's was on, I think, like March 1st or something. And so this was a couple days after that happened. And she like made a post like, you're the love of my life forever or something. So probably got people to be like, okay, like people wishing for a divorce, probably not what it was. I mean, I don't know. People have done that before. They'll come out and be like, no, everything's fine. And then a couple months later, divorce. But with them, it's like, they're always having that follow them around. So... I don't know. It's just like, I would, that's another thing about their relationship. I've talked about it with my friend Hailey, not Hailey Bieber, a different Hailey. I guess I should clarify. Just that like, it's unfortunate that like, I don't know. You see a lot of, like, Hailey always has to live in the shadow of Selena and Justin. Like, she chose this person as her partner. It's been 6 years, and that'll always follow them around. Same with what I was saying about how, like, it'll always, like, Selena will always be a third partner. That's always going to follow their relationship around, I feel like, at this point. It just, that kind of sucks, too. Like, you feel like you can't be happy or show it off in your relationship because, like, people are just, like, haters all the time, but...
Praying on my downfall.
Yeah, exactly. So prayers to Justin and Hailey, whatever's going on there. And moving on to another crazy thing. Noah Cyrus, Tish Cyrus, and I don't even know like Tish's husband's name, Dominic, whatever. This is interesting because
disturbing.
I was watching, actually, I saw like a Chicks in the Office had like a little blurb about it. And at this point, like one thing had reported on it, and it may not be like the most like logical source. So it was kind of like, haha, this is hilarious. This isn't that serious. But then more and more places started reporting on it. People Magazine, no one's denying it. And that's where, so then they did like another follow-up and they're like, I'm kind of scared now because no one's denying this and more people are reporting it and it feels real now. Because there was clearly a divide whenever Billy Ray and Tish got divorced. And it was like Miley and Tish's 2 older siblings took their mom's side and the younger kids took their dad's. And like they didn't even go to the wedding. But I just thought it had to do with the divorce. Like I didn't.
Which is what you would think until this juicy news drops.
And the reason this grosses me out is on a lot of levels. For one, Dominic, is in his 50s. And Noah would have been in her early 20s. So that right there is already a little gross. And they were like a friends with benefit type relationship.
Yeah.
2, Tish knew that her daughter did this stuff with him and married him anyway. Not only are you now sharing a partner with your 20-year-old
Eskimo
daughter,
sisters
with your daughter,
with your kid.
yeah. So you marry someone knowing they did something with your kid, knowing that they did something with your kid when they're 30 years older than your kid. Like,
Yes.
and then I alone don't respect him or trust him going after 20-year-old, 30 years younger, then marrying the 20-year-old's mother. Like, it's such a mind, because it's so weird on so many levels. And apparently Miley came out like, I didn't even know about this. It's like, how did you not know? Like, you wouldn't know that there was, like, the daughter started acting weird unless, like, Noah was doing this on the low and didn't want to say anything. But with how close that family is, how close Tish and Miley are, how did Miley not know about this? It's like, it's so weird.
To me, if I think of like a sister relationship, I know not all sisters have the same relationship, but something like this is something that you would confide in like a sibling about, like, oh my God, my mom is trying to marry like someone that I was with. I would tell my siblings that. So I feel like it's very hard to believe that she didn't know anything.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just seems odd, and it'd be one thing if, like, Noah's like, oh, I don't care, it wasn't serious. Like, I mean, if in a weird universe she's okay with it. But she's clearly not. And you basically chose this guy in a way over your daughter.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird.
It's
and
disturbing.
It's kind of disappointing, too, because Tish and her daughter, Brandy, just came out with this podcast. And I feel like in the last couple of weeks, Tish was like, they were on Call Her Daddy, and, like, her personalities got to shine. And people were like, almost like really rooting for Tish and like making her not just Miley's mom and, Billy Ray's ex, whatever. And then this news drops, and I feel like it's got people like, don't know about this. I'm really ready for someone. I'm ready for people to talk about it. Like, I'm ready for someone to say something about this. Like, it's been made too big of a thing.
My thing is, there's so many people that she could have been with. So many people. She's got money. She's a celebrity. She's not ugly. Why would you go after your daughter's ex who was disturbingly older than your daughter? Like, if I was a parent, I'd be pissed at that person. I wouldn't be like, oh, like, he's kind of cute. Like,
let me marry
together.
him.
Right?
And apparently he was on, like, her, like, basically hall pass elevatory type list.
Still.
And messaged him, or he messaged her back in something about 2016 I saw. And so it's weird then, like, after she got divorced, she hit him up. But it's super, super weird to me on so many levels. And so
very weird. Well, if he had messaged her before, that makes me like feel like he was with Noah to get to her.
That's
if he had messaged her before he was even with Noah.
I don't want to like say the wrong thing, but I think that he did. And if that's the case, she was also married to Billy Ray in 2016. I think they've kind of split up a couple times. So I don't know. That's a fair point too.
Yeah.
It's like, it gives me the ick. It makes me wonder if that relationship will end up working out. I feel like it's just like a lot of bad press, and I feel like it looks bad now. But we'll see. TBD. I feel like there's a little bit more to that will come out. Maybe Noah will like release a song or something.
Ooh, a diss track.
Yeah. But I find it interesting is, like I said, there's been this divide, and Miley clearly took her mom's side and hasn't been close to her dad. But with this information, it's like, will she want to do what appears to be the right thing? And will that change how all that has happened? Because, actually, let's go to the other side of this. Billy Ray just married a girl who is like 20 or 30 years younger than him, who's Miley's age, and was on Hannah Montana when he was like, obviously he was on Hannah Montana with Miley. She was like an extra on that show and is Miley's daughter, and he married her. I completely forgot about that. So it's like, what is up with them? Like, something is wrong with them. I forgot that's also disturbing.
I could see why Miley would be like, I'm taking sides with my mom because my dad is with someone who is my age.
Yeah, so that's why she did that.
And I could see Noah being like, I'm taking my dad's side because my mom's kind of being weird right now. What a messed up situation.
I know, it's such a mess on a lot of levels. I don't know who's worse. I don't know. It's so weird. But
Tish. I think Tish is worse 1000%.
I can't imagine having a kid, allowing them to do that with someone older, and then marrying the guy. It's a little weird.
Yeah. It's disturbing.
Okay, well, I'm sure more will come from that. But yeah, forgot about the Billy Ray stuff. Couple other some things. Selena Gomez just released a new song called Love On. Wait till I turn my love on. Yeah, Love On.
Yeah.
So like I said, I like Selena. I've always been a supporter. I've always felt like I could relate to her because I understand what it's like to like be in a very toxic situation. You feel like it kind of just like messes with you, alters you. It really does affect your mental health. It's hard to get over. But I do think sometimes she can victimize herself despite that. But she's now with Benny Blanco, and they seem happier than ever. So good for you, girl. But she released this like Love On song, and I think it's fun. I think it's boppy. I think it's really catchy. TikTok has really taken it in the last like week and blown it up, I guess I should say. But anyway, I saw a lot of people when it first come out being like, "This sucks." Like, Selena, what are you doing? Just hating on it. And I'm like, it's not bad or good. It's just a pop song you hear on the radio.
Right. I think it sounds like every other popular pop song right now.
And like we were talking earlier, it kind of sounds like Feather by Sabrina Carpenter. I could see Sabrina singing it. I think there's like similar writers or something, and that's probably the inspiration. But I think it's fun. It reminds me of something that came out like 2018, 2019. It reminds me of something like a handful of years ago. So I don't think it's like gonna go win a Grammy, but I think it's just fun. And I think sometimes like it's okay to have pop music it's just fun, generic stuff. Like I sometimes in the car, I'm like, this is what I want to listen to. It's not serious. It's just fun. And not everything has to be like a super deep, great thing. But I just also like do like a lot of her other music. And she's always like, I don't know if I'm going to keep releasing music because
I know.
She's like, maybe I'll focus on acting. So I'm like, and Selena, again, she's just kind of like a loose cannon. Like she'll freak out on Instagram and be like, I'm deleting my Instagram. And then like an hour later, she's back and I'm nervous. She's going to see hate and be like, I'm just not going to release any more music.
I know.
How she is. And then I'm like, well, then that's just how she is as a person. So
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, she's probably going to see the hate and be like, okay, never mind. You guys wanted my new music, and then you get it, and then you complain. So
never again. I'm never gonna sing ever again. And then next week she'll have an album. But like I said, TikTok has really like they sped it up, and it's like popping off. So I think it's actually gonna end up being okay because like that's the thing. If TikTok gets a hold of it, makes it a trend, makes it cool, then you're good. You just never know. It could be an old song from 10 years ago.
Right.
TikTok makes it popular, which that's what I like about TikTok. I've been seeing a lot of like Kate Middleton conspiracy theories. I don't know a ton about this. I truly don't keep up with the royal family, but people are like, Kate hasn't been seen in a month and she had an emergency surgery and whatever his face is has canceled appearances. And they're like, people I think just like to read really deeply. Like not everything has to be conspiracy theory, but like, have you seen anything on that?
I have. And I think people are I went down this rabbit hole like a week ago, but I think people are so like reading into it more than normal because Prince George, King George, the old guy who is head of whatever right now.
See, we don't even know. It's a little weekend.
Yeah, he had a medical issue. I think he has like cancer. I honestly think he's on his deathbed.
He just got diagnosed with cancer,
But before that, they were like being like, okay, like he's canceled, he's not going to be here today. Like they were being very nonchalant about it. And they're like, oh yeah, by the way, like he has cancer. So I think that's why people are reading into it more because they think, okay, they're being nonchalant about it. Oh, she had the surgery. You're not going to see her for 2 months. She wants you to respect her privacy. And so, yeah. And then it was like a couple days ago that she was seen. Like she
I know,
did.
She's just like in a car. I'm like, she probably
in a car.
Someone. Come take a picture of me in the car. Get him to shut up. Even though, because that's what people on the internet are saying. They're like, they told us she wouldn't be in public for 2 months. Like they're doing what they said they were going to do. Why are we making a conspiracy theory about it?
Well, I saw a girl on TikTok and she was talking about the situation and she's like, this is Kate's signature move. When something happens and she's not seen and speculations are flying, she will do a drive-by in her car so the paparazzi will see that she is okay, she's normal, she's fine, and then silence a little bit. So I think that's why she did that. And her mom was the one driving the car. So the girl who's talking about this on TikTok, she's like, I think her mom, like being the like PR person that she is, was like, okay, you got to get out there and settle these rumors. But I've been hearing people like, oh, she has a colostomy bag and that's why she doesn't want to be like in the spotlight. Like, what could this abdominal surgery have been? And I'm like, okay, I don't know what, like maybe it was an appendix. I don't know. Maybe she got her gallbladder out. Like, it could be something so, like, I don't want to say simple because that's not simple, but not a colostomy bag. Like, that's extreme.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's like, unless there's like really obvious sketchy things, she got a surgery like people do. They said it'll be some time, which is what it's been. And people are reaching. It's like, again, not everything has to be a conspiracy crazy theory, but yeah, when I saw that picture, I'm like, something about it, I was like, this feels so staged. I'm like, this feels like a staged photo. Knowing what's going on with her, it feels a little fake.
I know. I think we'll know more though after Easter because that's when her appearance is supposed to be. So I think we'll know more after Easter. I'm sure she's going to come out looking perfectly normal and everybody's going to be like, okay, what was that about?
I think I read like a conspiracy. It was like she was going to have a fourth kid and something happened. I'm like, okay, everybody calm down.
Right?
Okay. Vanderpump Rules. There's a couple of little updates on here. I started watching this last year, obviously, when everybody did, when all the crap went on.
The drama.
I found myself super interested in it and just wild, right? So I've gotten into that, binge watched the entire series in like a month or two after that.
See, I watched it pre-COVID and they stopped recording when COVID hit, so I haven't watched it since then, but I've kept up with most of the drama. Like, I know, like, the cheating and all that. So I kind of know, but, like, not as deep as I was back in the day when I was watching it.
I will say that when I was watching it, I think I did actually skip a lot of it. It would have been 8 or 9. Would have been the first season, I think, after COVID. Because there was very much a clear, like, they didn't film for, like, over 2 years. And then it was, like, really they all had babies. Like, they all had babies at the same time. Stassi and Jax were not on it anymore. And then it was right after COVID, so I think there were still, like, protocols and stuff. And so it was just a very boring season. For me. So I did actually think I did skip a lot. Kirsten, whatever, she wasn't on it either. And they were like big people to be on that show. So it felt a little boring. And I think it's felt boring until that happened last season. Even this season's feeling kind of a little boring, but I think that's natural after something crazy like that happens. And this season was filmed literally within, I think, a few months after. So not a lot of time to process and digest everything that had happened there. But yeah, so some recent stuff is Jax and Brittany. Okay. They and this Kristen girl, whatever, are on this new show called The Valley with other people. And it's literally getting ready to come out. And Jax and Brittany announced they're separating like a week or two ago. Like, they're breaking up. And it's like, it seems like maybe it's a little strategic planning because they're getting ready to be on this reality show and now they're getting a divorce or separated. So it feels that way. But I also can see on the other end that, like, they weren't in front of the camera, so they got to be married and have a kid. And I can totally just see Jax's character, maybe even Brittany's. Now that Scandoval put them all back on the map, they got, like, really popular again from it because people went and binge watched the series. And I think he kind of missed that. So I could see Jax falling back into old ways too.
Oh, for sure.
And I guess there was a picture my friend sent me of him and his publicist took a picture together and it looked a little cozy.
Yeah,
Did you
I
see
saw
that?
that one. I did.
Yeah.
What is the Valley about? I haven't heard of that yet.
I really don't know too much about it. It's just like a reality show about like Jackson Brittany are on there. How do you say her name? Kristen and her
Yeah,
boyfriend are on it, and then it's like other randos. I don't know if they are on other shows. You might look into it. And it's supposed to air
I
soon.
know. Hmm.
And it's just kind of like I think it's just going to be kind of a similar concept of Vanderpump Rules, just following these people that have kids now.
Gotcha.
But they're getting ready to be on it, and they announced that they're separating, and then this picture with Jax comes out, and then she's all like, yeah, I moved out, and he's like, no, we're still living together. It's like, what's the truth? Like, they're saying conflicting things, and she's all, if he changed some stuff, it would work out. It's like, Brittany, the guy's cheated on you multiple times.
Yeah.
I understand, like, they've been married for years since and had a kid, but now they're back in the spotlight, so they're putting themselves back into that, and like, I will say Stassi, I really keep up with her a lot and listen to her podcast and stuff. And she's probably been invited to go back on and she doesn't want to. And it's such a smart thing for her to do. Obviously, she's married with 2 kids now. And she has actively tried to change because she acknowledges some of her behavior wasn't cool. And she got canceled right at COVID time because of some stuff which caused her and Kristen to get fired from the show. And I think that she realizes, like, when you put yourself back out there, like, you know, any little thing she does could be misconstrued. And then it's like, oh, she hasn't changed or whatever. I think that Jax and Brittany are going to face that going back, putting themselves back out there like this. Like they're already separating and his fidelity is coming into question again. And like, I feel like that could be bad on all the progress they've made over the years to like put that image away.
First of all, I honestly am shocked at how well Stassi is doing in her life. Like, just from watching this show, and like, I know it's a reality show, like, some of it's scripted, but like, seeing her in the show and just knowing her life now, it's like not how I would have expected that to go.
Yeah.
So good for her for getting her life together and like living a normal life after being in like a chaotic show for all these years.
Yeah. And not wanting to continue into that chaos. Right. With now being a mother of 2 children.
Right. And in regards to Jackson and Brittany, I was not surprised at all when I saw that they were separating. I think it's rare for celebrities to even stay married these days. I feel like they're always getting a divorce. So I wasn't surprised at all, and especially because of how Jax was on the show when I watched it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just was not surprised. So once a cheater, always a cheater.
Yeah,
so I'm
he's
sure
like
that's what happened.
He's a serial cheater.
Yeah,
and there's
sure
some people that
happened.
are. He could love Brittany all day long. It doesn't matter. Like, there's just some guys, I know some, that are like that. And that's just how they're going to be for the rest of their life if they haven't changed after their full frontal cortex has been developed. So
Right. And these people, I feel like they're like pushing 40 now. Like, isn't
he's
Jax
in his
like
40s? He's like 44. He's like 44.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah,
he's got like a little
his shit together.
And their kid is so cute. And it's just like at some point it's like, you have a kid who's going to see all this. So maybe think about the way you're trying. I don't know if you just want the fame and attention, but like,
Right.
But he's supposed to make appearance on Vanderpump Rules this season. So he's supposed to, like, for the first time in all these years. So I'm very intrigued to see how that goes down.
I'm sure we'll find out.
Him and Lisa are like getting into it. Cause like the last scene, him and her were getting into it that he was on like 4 or 5 years ago. So I'll be very curious. Cause I think she fired him from the show or something. And then the other thing I have for this is Sheena being a fair weather friend. Sheena is like one of the worst people on the show. Like she's
so annoying.
She, I think, is a big people pleaser and just wants to be liked. And there's aspects of her that remind me of myself, but she is so extreme. It is insane.
Yeah.
And it was really shown in this last episode. She makes everything about herself. She's like, Ariana got on Dancing with the Stars and I was happy for her. Like she knew that that was always my dream and I was happy for her. And it's like Nick,
are you though?
What's his name? Nick Viall or
Nick Viall or Viall, yeah.
He had a little thing like, if you would have just left that part out about you wanting to do it, that would have been a nice compliment to your friend, but you made it about you by being like, something I wanted, but I'm okay with you. Like what? Ariana's supposed to be like, you know what, Dancing with the Stars? Let Sheena do it. Like, no!
Give it to Sheena.
And just, she's like freaking out about Sandoval because she wants to forgive him. She wants to be his friend again. It's very obvious. She was like crying hysterically the whole last episode because she's like, he was my friend too. And it's like, and I guess he gave her like thousands of dollars during the pandemic, and like she feels some guilt for that. And apparently, I think Kristen even came out and said that he gave her money during the pandemic. And like, those are not things. This is where it gets complicated with Sandoval, because he did not come out and say that he's done that over the years. He could have easily came out and been narcissistic and been like, I gave them money. He never said it. He quietly did that. So it's like, in a weird way, it's like, that was a nice character trait of him. I just think because I think that there's people, because I think about this too, because I know some bad people in my life. Like, maybe they're not terrible people in certain ways, but they're not good in relationships, or they're not good with,
exactly.
Like, I don't know if both of those things can be true, but it's not that I don't think he's probably done some decent stuff, but like, the issue with the Ariana stuff is he's just like not, he just seems like he just genuinely doesn't care. It's like he has to fake caring, because I think it's not like he tried to get her back after it happened. He's like, we weren't happy. Like, he was already immediately like, I'm out of this now. Like, almost like probably relief. But anyway, Sheena, because this is really what it's about, is just like, she just seems like a fair weather friend. Like, she just bounces around. That's what they talked about. They have like an after show that's airing, and Katie said that she's a male sympathizer. She's like, when Schwartz and I broke up, all of a sudden her and Schwartz were best friends. Ariana and Tom, now she needs his friendship. And she's okay. So they go on a vacation. So Katie and Ariana were like, we're not going on this. And like Schwartz puts it together and invites Tom, trying to like mend the group a little bit. And, you know, Sheena's crying on a boat, calls Katie and Ariana. Like, it's just hard because he was my friend. Like, you realize you're talking to Ariana, trying to get advice from her. She's the one that was cheated on, and she's cut him off. And like, look at her life thriving. Her life has thrived since she cut him off. And you're trying to like look to her for sympathy. It's it's weird.
That is weird. That is weird. I was going to use the word disturbing, but I feel like I've used that word too much this episode.
Just because everything's disturbing. We're just disturbed.
It is. It is. I would never be like, oh my God, I need to call this guy's ex to be like, oh my God, he was my friend too. It's like she wants her permission to like, be friends with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not a girl's girl at all.
No, she's not. And it reminds me of the quote, a friend to all is a friend to none. Like, I think you need to have some standards, like, in your life. Like, I don't know. If someone really did my best friend wrong, I don't know that I could, like, associate. I don't know.
Me either.
To that level, that extreme. I don't know. It's weird. I had a friend who stayed friends with people that I felt like done me wrong. And I'm like, okay, like I was like, I'm not going to hold those relationships against you. And then like, now we're not friends because she got mad at something one of my friends did. And I'm like, you did that all the time to me and I let it go. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
toxic.
It's not. And those people need to be removed. But like, I don't know. That was another thing Nick said. He was like, he goes like, is Sheena and Brock are like it's like they're throwing themselves into the Tom Sandoval stuff to like make them relevant to the storyline. And that's what he said.
Honestly,
he's like, it's almost like they're trying to like get more screen time.
Honestly, they probably are.
Oh, and something I don't have on here because it just got announced is that Lala's pregnant with baby number 2.
I didn't see that.
I think she just did like a sperm donor situation. And she's been saying that. She's like, I'm just trying to get a sperm donor. Like, she just like, I don't want another man in my life. I want to have another kid to have a sibling to my kid.
Are her and the baby daddy not together
Randall?
anymore?
You don't know about? Oh no, that was like a big thing. He was like cheating on her with someone else, and she like has really been struggling with it. It's like cries all the time. Like, obviously she's going through it, trying to heal. But that's like something Tom Sandoval when her got in a big fight about on this episode that just came out, because like, something that Tom Sandoval does is he keeps trying to throw things from the past. Like when James gets upset with Sandoval for having had an affair with Raquel, who he was engaged to, who Tom like paid for their engagement stuff. Tom's like, yeah, but you and Kirsten, he's like, what? That was 10 years ago, Tom. You can't like throw every mistake from 5-10 years ago when we had character development to justify what you're doing now at 40 years old. Okay. Like that's what he likes to do. So him and Lala were getting into it because he's like, in his little like interview with Just the Camera, he's like, I had an affair for 7 months. Lala kept parts of her life a secret for 6 years and wouldn't talk about it on the show. And he's like she did it too, you know? So anyway, they broke up, and it's a big mess. You should like look it up. I'm sure you could just like do a
I
quick little
should.
catch up on it. But yeah, so she's single, which has been. I think they've been broken up for a couple years. I think almost.
Oh,
This
where
has
have I been?
Yeah, it's been a while. But people are like kind of giving her grief about it. Like, you're not gonna have a father, and it's like. She could have a Randall. Do you want her to be married to a guy who's a piece of garbage? And then, like, just because she has a person there, like, kind of respect that she's, like, not just trying to get knocked up by anybody and just wants to focus on motherhood. Like, good for her.
Right. It's 2024. Like, come on now, people. This is not wild.
Yeah. There's so much. We could just, like, have a whole episode on Vanderpump Rules because there's just so much.
Honestly.
I literally have a bullet point that says Scandoval. And
Scandoval.
I have no idea what that
It could be so many things. So many things.
I literally don't even know. And then I have Love is Blind, and I don't really watch this show, but I feel like I've been hearing a lot about it. I think I've watched episodes in the past with my friend, like the first couple seasons, but I've been seeing a lot of people say that as the show goes on, it's like losing its purpose of what the show is supposed to be. I don't know if you feel that way, but I've been hearing a lot about some of the people from the season, so I'll let you talk about that a little bit, and you can fill me in.
Well, I've liked this season so far. It's been a lot better than last season, especially. Last one was so bad. Like, I think they only followed around like 3 couples after they got out of the pods. And one of them, they just didn't show at all because there was like drama with it all. And she's suing them now. I guess the guy who she was engaged with was like abusive and all that. Yeah, so she's like suing the producers now. But they just cut her out of the show entirely. They're like, we're just not even going to show you guys at all.
I kind of feel like if there's like a lawsuit like that happening, it probably wouldn't be good to show it though.
Well, that was last season. So the lawsuit just came out. Like she just filed the lawsuit. Yeah. So
maybe
they purposely.
I don't know. I was like, maybe they knew some stuff was happening, but it's just weird they cut them out and then there's a lawsuit happening.
Well, I heard that they cut them out because she had a fiance or she was in a relationship before she got on the show.
Why do people do that?
It's just been a trend with the show the last couple of seasons. There's always something coming out that so-and-so had a fiance or so-and-so was in a relationship before they got on the show. Like, what you said about the show's losing its purpose, I really think that's true because I feel like people are going on it just because it's gotten so popular over the last few seasons, and it's a good show and I like this season, but it's the same old. One thing I really did like about this season though was some of the lines that people said. Like, there's this guy named Jimmy, okay, and Jimmy would have gotten with Jess, this other girl from the pods, but she had a kid and you could just tell he did not want to be a daddy, so he's like, no, I'm not going to be with Jess. I'm going to be with Chelsea because Chelsea said she looks like Megan Fox.
These are the people I heard about.
Yes, which
wasn't the original girl though. Wasn't she like really good? Was that the one where she's like, "You're gonna see me and you're gonna regret this"?
Yes, you're gonna need an EpiPen. Like, that's so
hilarious.
Funny. Yes. So those are the same people. And I do think her name's Chelsea. I do think she resembles Megan Fox. And she didn't say that she thinks she looks like her. She said that people have told her. And I can see it like in the eyes or something. There's something in her face.
I see resemblance. And maybe not even more so how Megan Fox looks now, because right now she's like super thin. Her hair is different like color. She's with Machine Gun Kelly. Yeah, right. I can see what you mean. Yeah, like a resemblance. It's not like her twin.
Exactly. And so people were hating on her because of that. And anywho, he picked her. She obviously didn't look like Megan Fox. There's a meme going around where it's like his face when he's hugging her and he's just looking at the camera like
I saw this somewhere. I watch a lot of like podcasts on YouTube and I feel like that little clip was shown. Yeah, I think they were talking about it and he's just like obviously to look at the camera like, oh.
And he makes a comment like, you said that you lied. You said that you look like Megan Fox.
I would feel so bad if someone said that to me.
I know. So at the beginning of the show, I was like, hey, my dog just came in. Hazel, go. At the beginning of the show, I was like, okay, Jimmy's a piece of shit. But then he picks Chelsea. You can tell, spoiler alert to anybody who wants to watch this season who hasn't yet. Sorry, but he picks Chelsea. You can really tell that he's trying. And the whole time she's like being so annoying. Like, you don't love me, like all that stuff. And that is just annoying to be around. And she keeps saying it. One episode was like, I don't love you, you don't love me, I can't do this. And he was like, I can't do any more here. And he said a line. He has two friends that are girls. And she was like, oh, I'm fine with that. Was not fine with that. She was so self-conscious about it. And she brought it up how he like fucked one of the girls and that set him off. He's like, you just lost my trust. I told you that in confidence and you just told the cameras. And I get it. If you're talking to someone, you know them for like 2 weeks and then you're like, okay, we're going to get married and they lose your trust on week 3, like I'd be like, okay, I'm out of here. And I see some people being like, oh, like Jimmy was being dramatic or Jimmy was in the wrong for saying that he lost his trust because of that. But I'm like, I totally get it. When you think about the timeline of things, they've known each other for 2-3 weeks. Like, I get it. But he made a comment because she was talking about how he was friends with girls and how he texted them all the time. And he was like, I don't even remember what it was. Like, is this something that you can get over? And she was like, yes. And he's like, well, it's not something that I can get over, or something like that. I wish I could remember, but it was iconic. And my TikTok the next day was flooded with people just making fun, like Jimmy going to the bathroom, like in the bathroom mirror after he said that iconic line. It's so funny. But I like Jimmy after all that. They didn't get married. He said before they even went to the altar, which I respect, that he didn't want to get married. And she was like, what? Like, I don't feel like you didn't try this whole time. Like, we were just sitting here playing our songs. And I'm like, it's better than the people who make the girl get all dressed up, make guests come to their wedding to walk down the aisle to say no. Like, I respect that he did that before they walked down the aisle. So that was them. And then the whole other couple, their names were AD and, shoot, what was that other guy's name? AD and AD's man. I don't remember his name. But they were going good the whole time. He kept mentioning how his dad cheated on his mom and how he didn't know, like, he didn't want to cheat on his wife and he didn't know if he could not cheat on his wife. Like, talked about that all the time. They go to the altar. He's like, no, I can't do this. Like, she's already said I do. He says no. And then the whole reason that he says no is because of his parents' relationship, because he saw his dad cheat on his mom and all this. And I'm like, are you serious? And then you could tell afterwards that he felt so stupid for like saying no. And I'm just like, you should have worked this out before you went on a show where the purpose was to get married.
You keep going back to that. It's going to almost be a crutch for you. It's going to be an issue in all your relationships, and you didn't have to like get all the way to that point just to say no because of it. Like,
and his reasoning was like, I need to go to therapy. I need to work on myself.
I was literally I'm not. He needs to go to therapy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not ready for a marriage. I'm like, why would you go on a show where the sole purpose is to get married? That's what I didn't understand.
He probably wants attention, or two. Needed to do something like that to realize, oh, I have problems.
Yeah, I loved AD. She was amazing. Like, she had some really good one-liners too. And I could go on about this show for like another 30 minutes probably. This season was good, and I think the reunion comes out Wednesday, so hopefully there's some more drama on Wednesday, but it's a really good show, and you need to watch it.
I think I watched, like I said, some of the beginning seasons, and the couples on there felt more genuine. I feel like they actually tried. But kind of like to go back to what you were saying, like I used to watch The Bachelor when I was like 10. Like I used to watch it back in the day. So I remember some of the early like drama seasons. And a couple of those relationships are still going to this day. But I feel like as we've gotten into like the social media generation now, it's like they just young people just want to get on it, I think sometimes for the wrong reasons. And it's like, while that can make good TV, I don't find it as interesting, actually. It almost becomes the same thing every time. But
I
Love
know.
is Blind... For Love is Blind, I heard about that couple. And it's funny because I think that's what I was watching. It was called The Sesh. It's a podcast on YouTube today. And they briefly talked about Love is Blind. And they're like, at first, we didn't know about this Jimmy guy. And they said the same thing as you. But they're like, but then at the end, they both kind of sucked. And she sucked a lot. So it kind of like did turn the tables, it seemed like, for people.
Yeah, it did. And it's just annoying because, like, last season, there were, like, 2 couples that made it to the actual altar out of everybody. This season, only 2 of the couples made it to the altar. So it's like, there's no, like, suspense anymore at the end, because that's the part where it's like, okay, there's 5 couples. Which ones are going to say yes and get married, and which ones are going to say no? And it just hasn't been there the last couple seasons because everybody either breaks up before or their stuff gets cut from the show. So we'll see. They've been sued a lot recently, so I don't even know if they'll do another season. But
they're losing money.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make it interesting, though, right? With like a reality show like that. Like I feel like it's people like in relationships. What more challenges can you add? Like I think about like The Circle, which, by the way, I'm ready for the new season to come out because it's usually this time of year. Usually this time of year they release it, and I looked it up and it said late spring, early summer, so it should be any time.
So
but
soon.
That's a show that like you can do a little bit more like some twists I haven't liked, but with that one you can't. It's like a reality show. But yeah, the dating shows, I feel like it's a little bit harder. But
it is.
Lots of pop culture stuff that we covered.
I know.
This
I
week.
love how we were like, oh, this is probably going to be a shorter episode. And it's
we
like
always say that.
50 minutes. I know.
This is like our longest one to date.
Okay. Let me pull up the tarot. This week we got the Empress. It says, dress well, speak well, and spend time with people who normally might overlook you. Today you have more authority and influence than usual. At work, your superiors will recognize your talents and capabilities, though they might not outwardly acknowledge it. At home, you can be the ruler of all you survey, and your words will go unchallenged. All right. Be gracious and make it all beautiful. So
there was a lot to take in with that one.
Take charge and talk to people who are superior to you.
There was a line in there that you said that I'm like, what does that even mean? Or it didn't make sense. Can you read the first sentence again? I want to remember, know what it was. I wanted to call it out.
Dress well, speak well, and spend time with people who normally might overlook
that's
you.
It. Why would I want to hang out with people that don't think about me, that overlook me? I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything, Tarot. Okay? Like that just rubbed me the wrong way.
Rubbed me the wrong way this Friday evening. Thank you, Empress card.
I will not, what is it called? I will be leaving the rest and not taking anything. It didn't resonate.
Yes. Well,
I mean, I think parts of it's kind of true. I feel like I've been at this new job. I feel like things are going kind of good.
You
I had
have
some
been recognized.
I did get recognized yesterday.
Yeah.
And the girl was like, "You're crushing it." I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, you were recognized by people who normally don't recognize you. And you did it beautifully.
Yeah. Normally overlooked, but all right. Well, maybe that will resonate with other people if you care about people that overlook you, not overlooking you today. Until next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
What?
Wait. I know thumbs up does something.
This has been happening. I wonder if the hearts will do it on here. Yep. This has been happening on a call with a girl that I work with. She's like very animated. So she'll do this and balloons go off, and she'll do this, and there's always something going on. But that I didn't know peace signs.
I know.
New one.
I love that one though.
And you know what? That just seems like a good note to leave on. Confetti.
It is.
A party. All right.
Okay. Bye.